Good afternoon, students. Welcome once again to DSG's Home Classes, a digital initiative taken by Director of School Education, Shrimati Anuradha Gupta. Thanks for her for taking this initiative.
Hello students, as you know, my name is Mohinder Goswami. I welcome you once again in this English class. Students, I have decided today to discuss lessons with you from the class 7th, and it is a very beautiful poem Window, which is written by West Maggie. Students, as we have already discussed with you two important lessons from your book. Lesson number 1, Markhor, which we completed in two parts. And another lesson which we have discussed is Lal That. Students, as you know, in your unit test 1, there is also important poem, and that is Windows. So, we are going to discuss. So, let's start the poem. Dear students, before starting the beautiful poem, you need to observe this picture. As you know, every house has these, what we call these things. So now I think you definitely know the answer. These are windows. So students, our today's topic is windows. So let us discuss why the poet has titled this beautiful poem as window and what is there inside it. So we will definitely see this. But as you know, this beautiful poem Windows was written by a famous poet, Wes Magee. He was born in 1939 in Greenock, United Kingdom. Students, this beautiful poem was taken from your class 7th Tulip series, and from this book we have already discussed two important lessons which we have already told you. Now students, let's begin the poem. Before starting, let us discuss first new words in the poem. Corridor, a long passage in a building from which doors lead into rooms. You can understand this by looking toward the picture. And the word jet airliner, a large jet aircraft carrying passengers. You can also see it there in the picture. Icebergs, a large floating mass of ice, is detached from the mountain of ice and then it floats in the sea. This is the first stanza of the poem. On the way to my classroom, I walked down the long corridor, past the hundred of books, their pictures, jackets, colorful and bright, each one a window onto worlds I had never visited. Students, in these lines, the poet says that when I was walking the classroom, I walked down through a corridor, through a long corridor, and what I saw hundred of books lying there inside the corner, and their pictures jacketed, colorful and bright, each one a window. That means each picture has something new, which is which take me to a new world I never visited, and that world I have never seen. So these are the beautiful lines of the poet. Dear student, this is the second stanza of the poem. I can see elephants on a plane in Africa, a jet airliner cruising far above the white clouds, waterfall, icebergs, and cavemen fighting in a saber tooth, while the family cowers in a cave. Dear students, these are the beautiful lines, and in this beautiful line, the poet says to us that when he was walking through the corridor, what he saw a large number of books with bright, colorful jackets on them. And what is there in the books? He saw in the books, through the windows of the books, a elephants on a plain Africa. He saw a airliner cruising above the clouds as you look in the background pictures. And he also saw one of the important things. He saw the waterfalls, he saw icebergs, he saw Kevin fighting a saber tooth. He saw while the family courts in a cave. To look at these pictures, you will see that along icebergs, as we have discussed in the new words, it's a detached piece of ice. And he also, in this poem, the poet also tell us one thing that when he was walking through the corridor, these kind of things he noticed. And where he noticed these kind of things, he noticed these kind of things there in the books, because books serve as a window to the worlds, and it is such kind of world which the poet has never visited. A poet has seen many things. Poet has seen elephant. Poet has seen airplaner crossing above the white clouds. He has seen icebergs. He has seen waterfalls. So he sees all these things in their books, and that's why he called them a beautiful world. Such places, such worlds, back in a class, there are windows. Looking onto a world I knew well, I see the deserted playground, the grey November sky, rows of houses beyond thesis, the chimneys of closed down factory. I saw all these things. What the poet says here that in these lines that I had not seen such kind of world which I saw in the books. When I sitting back in the class, so I look into the world outside. So what I saw the grey November sky, rows of houses, and beyond these the chimney of the closed down factory. All these things I saw from my window, but I was not able to see the thing which I saw there in the corridor. When I walk through the corridor, I look through the windows of the books, the things which I couldn't saw here in the class. Dear students, this is the last stanza of the poem. I am always willing to take the register to the office or messages to other classrooms, for then I walk down the long corridor and gaze once more through the book jacket windows onto worlds I have never visited. What the poet is saying in this line, the poet says in this line that I always ready to do anything so that I got an opportunity to again visit the area of the corridor so that I can see the books lying there in the corners, and I can also go through once again to the world, that world I have never visited. That means I just got a chance to go again, whether it to take the register to the office or to send the message to the other class. So students, we have completed this beautiful poem, and this poem describes the desire of a child. Uh, It is in the form of wishes of a child which he wants to fulfill. Now, let us discuss the summary of the poem. The poem Window is written by Wes Maggie. The poem is about a student who walks down the long corridor and sees different things. He sees colorful pictures, covers of books, and animals of the places he had never visited. The poet tries to bring out the feeling of a student about the classroom and its surrounding. The student looks onto the worlds through a window he has never visited, where he sees white clouds, icebergs, waterfalls, and many other things. He is always willing to carry the messages are registered to other classrooms or office, as it gives him a chance of seeing these things repeatedly. So let's discuss now textual questions. The first question, where does the speaker walk? So as we have discussed in the poem, the speaker walks down the long corridor on the way to his classroom. As far as second question is concerned, what view does he get from the window of the classroom? Is it dull or exciting? Pick out the words in support of your answer. From the window of classroom, the poet saw a familiar view. It was dull as it had deserted playgrounds, rows of houses, and chimneys of closed down factories. This is question number 3. Why does the family cower in a cave? The family cowers in a cave because of the fear of becoming prey to a saber tooth, a kind of snow leopard. You can also call it white cat because they are saving the family, and that's why the family fear that they become a prey to this wild animal. Why is the playground deserted? The playground looks deserted because there is no one moving on the ground. Children are busy in classrooms and it is cold outside. That's why the poet says that when he looked outside the window, he saw everything dull, as it is playground which looks desert, rows of chimneys, and he also saw the factory, the chimney of which was not working. It is in a stopped position. So that's why everything become dull to him. That's why he called it the playground looks deserted, because all the students were at that time there in the class. Question number 5. Name the things which the speaker sees in stanza 3. As far as question number 5th is concerned and question number 3rd, stanza 3rd is concerned, the speaker sees the deserted playground, the grey November sky, and the rows of houses and chimneys of closed down. Question number 6. Why is the speaker willing to take the register or messages to the office and the classroom? The speaker is willing to carry a register or messages to the office or classroom because it gives him a chance of seeing the exciting things again and again. Because whenever he walked through the corridor, he saw a large number of books there, and in their books he saw the pictures of the worlds which he had never visited, and that's why he becomes very curious to go again and again to the corridor, so that he got a chance to look at those pictures once again. Who is I in this poem? So as far as the question number 7, which is the last question, is concerned, I is the speaker of the poem and the speaker is a student. This is language work, so you can work on it by yourself. You have studied the poem and now it's your turn to fill all these gaps. I have already filled, but first you open your textbook and see the gaps there and try to fill, and then again come watch the video and see the answer, whether you have filled it completely or you may have committed some kind of mistakes. So you need to do this. It is self exercise. Now the last part. Write down at least 5 words which have been repeated in the poem. Classroom, world, work, window, dawn, sea, corridor, etc. are repeated used in the poem. Now it's turn to homework. Students, you need to do one thing. You need to write down all the material that we have discussed in this poem. But along with this, you need to write down the summary of the poem Windows. Why is the playground deserted? Where does the speaker walk? Write down the meaning of words corridor and icebergs, which all the things we have already discussed. So go through the poem once again and then write down the answer in your notebooks. With this, we have completed this beautiful poem. Thanks, all of you.